People tend to think of any platform like ours as the easy button. And we're not the easy button. We're for those companies that are committed to getting it right, that are comfortable looking at themselves and saying, hey, here's the things on either side of this that gets me good quality human beings.
This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1,000,000 a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue-collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability. This episode is brought to you by Corberry Digital. If you own an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, or home service business and you're tired of wondering where your next lead is coming from, you need to check out Corberry Digital. Corberry specializes exclusively in helping home service companies dominate their local markets through SEO, Google Ads, local service ads, websites, content marketing, and lead generation systems that actually produce a measurable ROI. Their team doesn't just focus on clicks and impressions, they help contractors lower customer acquisition costs, increase qualified leads, and build a marketing engine that scales. What I like about Corberry is they understand the blue-collar space. They aren't trying to be everything to everyone. Their entire focus is helping trades businesses win in their backyard and generate more profitable jobs. If you're looking to grow your business, improve your online visibility, and build a marketing system that works, visit Corberry.com and schedule a strategy session with their team. That's Corberry.com. Tell them you heard about them on the podcast. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. This episode is brought to you by Jonathan Keim and the teams at 360 Commercial Roofing and Top Roof Marketing. If you own or manage commercial property or you're a roofing contractor looking to grow, Jonathan has spent more than a decade helping businesses protect their buildings and scale through proven commercial roofing and marketing systems. His companies specialize in commercial roofing solutions, roof asset management, and marketing built specifically for the roofing industry. Whether you need a trusted commercial roofing partner or want to generate more qualified roofing leads, check out 360 Commercial Roofing or Top Roof Marketing. You can go to www.360, like 360, commercialroofing.com, and Top Roof Marketing, www.toproofmarketing.com. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm on with Jonathan Whistman. This guy has been on my radar for a while because Jonathan, we didn't even get to talk about it, but staffing and recruiting and maintaining skilled labor. When I started this podcast a year ago, that is the problem. That is the issue. And so you, obviously the founder of Who Hire, you have it dialed in, man. And I'm so excited to pick your brain and also get some commentary on just a 30,000 foot overview of where you think things are going. So let's start with just tell us a bit about your background.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Andrew, good to finally connect up and get a chance to visit with you. Most of the people that know me as the sales boss. It's from my first book that I wrote, all about building high-performing sales teams. So I've really spent the last 15 years helping organizations with the mechanics of how do you build a high-performing sales organization. And as a part of that journey, I came out of a religious cult. And so the reason I share that up front, I'm no longer in that, but I spent a lot of time watching how do humans change their belief structure and what causes people to do different things. And so when I escaped that, I really got a front row seat to looking at businesses. And I realized really quickly that the same forces are in play. When we bring human beings into our organization, the way they think, the way they act, all of those things are influenced by the things that, as business owners, we create around them. And then I got involved with a gal named Regina. She had built some amazing algorithms about how do you predict human performance inside of particular job roles. And so I started Who Hire with her, and we've been building a platform that goes everything from posting your job ads, interacting with your candidates, all the way through to the point of hire. But in the middle, we have this prediction that helps somebody who's going to invest in hiring, say, an HVAC technician, a plumber. They're going to hire a CSR agent. We do a lot of different industries, but I'm mentioning the trades specifically just because I know you also share that bond with the trades.
Those are my people, man. Not the guy in his truck, the guy that owns the trucks. Those are my homies. That's my people.
Yeah. So that's what we've been doing. That's the background. We've been busy helping people build. Another interesting thing that's sort of at the cross section of this is, as you know, AI is just transforming things at a really rapid pace. And I'm very pro AI, been at the forefront of that. I helped sell the first quantum computer on the planet. And in fact, I have one of the original chips that ran on a quantum computer. So I've been watching this tidal wave of technology coming. And so I'm really settling in on, I think for businesses to be successful, especially over the next, say, 5 years, that they need to get a strategy around humans and AI, because one, no matter what AI can accomplish for you, at the end of the day, you have to have a human that's willing and capable to pick up the tool and utilize it. And so, you need to hire an A+ human, strap a supercomputer to their back and get out of the way. And if you're in a company right now, if you're an executive and you're already having a hard time hiring A+ players, that's going to be a challenge, because can you imagine taking the power of AI and strapping it to C player Charlie? It's just not going to go well. And what I see, even in home services particularly, you see, I could probably expand beyond home service companies. If you look at the executive team, you normally have people that sit on opposite ends of the scale. You have somebody that I call them AI arrogant. They've ran a Claude bot or something, so they think they know what to do with AI. And then on the other end, you have somebody that thinks it's from the devil and wants to run the other way from it, or is fearful from it. And I don't think as an executive team, if you don't have a shared view of what AI is capable of, and particularly how does that influence your human strategies, how you staff and how you deploy the humans on your team, you're not going to be able to really compete in the world that we're facing. There's no way you can have a solid strategy if you don't have a shared understanding of those two things.
Man, it's all stuff that I've been thinking and feeling, and it's you put it into words so well. Okay, talk about the tool for a second. So let's say I'm Joe the plumber, or I have a construction company and I am having a hard time finding the $1 million tech or the guy that can swing a hammer. How do I get set up with Who Hire, and what's it going to do for me?
Yeah, Who Hire is a very easy platform to get started. It's going to help you with attracting candidates in. Here's the thing, and companies don't necessarily like to hear this. You hear people say, "Hey, I can't find good people. People don't want to work these days." And the truth is, sometimes you're just not attractive enough. Right? So like if you have an attraction problem, that's work that we can do together. But,
you mean physically I'm not attractive enough? That's my problem.
But like the company's not attractive enough. Like nobody wants to work for you. It's like, people say people don't want to work, they can't find good people. Here's the truth. If you're attractive in the marketplace, and what I mean by attractive could be physically, right? But I'm known in my community as the place to work. Mm-hmm. People will come to work for you as long as they believe they can do the best work of their life working for you. The moment that's no longer true, people are going to be susceptible to another dollar an hour. They're going to hedge their bets. If you want to hedge against finding good people, you have to really make your business a magnet. You have to be attractive. Right? It's sort of, I always tell guys, it's like, especially male business owners, I'm like, can you imagine just saying nobody wants to date anymore. Nobody wants to have sex anymore. It's not really true. They might just not want to have it with you, right? Because there are always good people out there. You have to change how you're approaching the business. We're entering into a period where young people have been raised being told they can earn $200K working on a beach in Bali, right? Trading day stocks. And they probably can. And now you add AI into that. And then you're asking them to come into your home service business and do what? Like you have to be able to tap into their dream of who they want to be in the future. So that's the attraction piece of it. And then our system picks up from the applicant process, takes them through that with all your normal things you'd expect from like an applicant tracking system, the scheduling the job interviews, the following up with reminders, sort of the mechanics of it. But in the middle of that, we have a prediction model that's built to help predict, is this person, after you spend the time and energy training and developing them, are they somebody that's going to be at the top 5% of the organization? And how long are they likely to stay? And we've done the deepest research in this area of the trades of anyone. The way we got started with building these models is we partnered with Nexstar, and they have 1,200 member companies, HVAC, plumbing, electrical companies, and we got to assess many of their staff in doing those roles against 400 stable human traits, all the things science says we can measure reliably in humans. So we got this really deep research basis of who are the kind of humans that take these jobs. And then we had a secondary set of data coming out of Service Titan, their manager ratings, all of those things to say, how did these people do actually in that role? And we're feeding that into a machine learning engine to say, when you get a new person coming in applying, to say, hey, this person's most likely like these people who do well in your training and development and go on to be top producers, or this is person's more like somebody that struggles and get stuck in mid-performance. So it's sort of really technical science stuff, but we make it super simple. We break it down just to an easy score that people can follow. We give a nice graph. It's a circle. The rounder it is, the faster they're going to roll through your company, and the less effort and energy it's going to take.
Huh, man, it's really fascinating, and it's such a brilliant solution for a really big need. What industries are you seeing it have the most? Obviously the blue collar space.
Yeah, anywhere, the sort of companies that benefit the most are where the quality of the human being really matters, and you're going to spend significant amount of time training and developing that person, right? And where there's a big difference between say somebody that's a C or B player and somebody that's an A player. So across the organizations that we work with, if you just try to use round numbers, if you take a team of say 10 performers, I'm just going to use sales as an example because it's easy to, talk in terms of sales, but it could be a selling technician, it can be any revenue facing role. If you take a team of 10, in most companies, they'll tend to have 2 people that are A players. And if we just use a revenue number, let's say their A player is $1 million a year producer. 2 out of the 10 are going to be at that 1 million. They're going to have 6 people that are at 650,000. And then they're going to have 2 that barely get to 250,000.
Yeah.
So when you think about the cost of not being able to identify people that can be those A+ players, it's a $4.5 million revenue problem just caught up in the fact that you can't attract or identify people that are going to stick and stay in your organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the math is a little intimidating around it because our data would suggest that you have to interact, if you're a business owner, you have to interact with about 160 people in order to find and hire one person who's going to end up being at the top 5% of your organization. That's a lot of people, almost physically impossible. That's why you need automation platforms like ours that really allow you to, go through all the people you shouldn't necessarily be spending time with, so you can spend time on the final few candidates. So that automation is really important, but you also have to be, very human because you're dealing with somebody's choice about where they're going to spend their future. So you can't automate the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I mean, when you think about 160 to get one person at the top 5%, if you think about most business owners, they maybe talk to 10 people to hire somebody, right, to fill a role. And it's no wonder that they end up having less than great hires.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting to me because I was talking to a $150 million HVAC guy, and he was telling me that his very, very top producer is doing the work of 20 people. And he literally built his entire sales team around it. But he's like, that guy's making $2 million a year. Like, he's my best sales guy, but he also kind of has me by the balls, Yeah. But it's like when you get one, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. And I think everybody wants one. And I also am like, do you really, really, really want one?
Yeah, you do actually really want one. And there is a bunch of research that tells us that, people tend to think of the power law curve where they think that A players happen less often in the population than say B players or C players. And that's not really true. They have the same frequency. The problem is people's ability to identify what actually makes that person an A player doesn't show up in their hiring process, right? And you'll know this to be true because you interview somebody and you're really quickly deciding, by some sort of heuristic, this person played college sports, or I like the way they talk. Like, they're all the things that really don't matter when it comes to are they gonna stick and stay on the job. So what we try to do in our platform is really bring enough data to bear so that people can counterbalance their bias. Oftentimes, that person who didn't do well in the interview is actually the person that might actually end up being your A+ player.
Dang.
Right. And so the goal is just, how do we identify those people? I always liken it to, like, if you had a bunch of kids beating on pots and pans, right, as little kids trying to play music, if you could just have a crystal ball that said, hey, if I give all these kids the same training, same opportunity, same love, this kid's going to probably sing in the shower. This kid might sing at karaoke if he gets really drunk. And this one's going to play at Carnegie Hall. That's what we're trying to get to at our system, is to say, this is the sort of person who, when you put them in your environment with your training, crawling up into an attic and doing that kind of job in somebody's home, they thrive in it. They love it. It's rewarding. They're naturally gifted at it, so they spend time on it. And you're just not going to get that in an interview. And then we run, through our company, we run 2-day classes where we bring executives teams in and we really show them how do you do interviews where you can get to the truth of who the human is that's there. Because a lot of times, especially in the trades, people just interview like the couple of jobs they maybe got early in their career, like however they were interviewed, they sort of hand that on. They haven't done any training and development in how to do proper interviews.
Yeah. I know one thing that I'm wrestling with as I'm hearing you talk is, we have a virtual assistant staffing company. We were kind of rapping about that before you hopped on. And we are constantly asking, how do we guarantee that you're going to get a complete savage out of the gate, right? Because we do all these things with screening, we do the disc profile, we do all these intro videos and resumes. And, at the end of the day, like I can watch a 30-second video and I can tell you this chick's a savage. I just know it. I can just tell, but we're just like, what can we do in our vetting process to make sure, number one, they're going to have all the requirements the client needs. They're going to have the background, the resume, and oh, by the way, she wakes up and she just kicks ass every single day.
Well, one you mentioned the disc, which is a beautiful example of a psychographic survey. The problem is it only deals with introversion and extroversion. Right? And there's no scientific proof to say that introversion and extroversion actually matters when it comes to job performance.
Yeah.
Right? So if you took like a room full of extroverts, it's probably true, or a room full of people, let's say half of them were introverts and half of them were extroverts, and you're looking for a sales killer or, somebody that's going to go out and dominate. It's probably true you could cut the room in half and you're going to find a higher frequency of those people in the extroverts because it's sort of part of the job. The problem with that is when you find the introvert that can do it, they're going to do it at 10 to 20 times the person that's the extrovert. But you're throwing them out because it's so hard and it doesn't feel like this is a person that should be in that role, right? Because you don't see it that often. And that's where in our platform, we've got 450 psychographics as opposed to DISC, which is a great tool. I write about it in my book, The Sales Boss. But you're getting maybe 16 different views on just 4 quadrants.
Well, when can I get some who hire for my, chicks in the Philippines, man? I'm ready for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll hook you up. And then in our platform, we have what we call a Go Ready test. So anything you need to test for, if that's a certification, if it's a basic knowledge of plumbing, electricity, if it's do they know how to use a certain program, we rate all that automatically in our system. We do one-way video interviews so you can see them and hear them before you get on the call with them. So we're just trying to, you're never going to have a system that's perfect, and our system isn't perfect either. What we're trying to do is de-risk the hiring by giving you as many signals as possible that cut out the noise, and then get rid of all of the people that should never be making it to the face-to-face period, so that you're not wasting your time and energy with people that are clearly not a fit.
Yeah. Jonathan, you work with some pretty big names in the blue collar space. I'm curious to hear how A1 Garage Doors has, benefited from Who Hire.
Well, I worked with Tommy for a lot of years, so I don't want to talk about any very specific client.
Of course, yeah.
Just not on a podcast like that. But they of course crush, and he's come in as an investor in our company. He's been a great supporter of ours over the years. But typically, where we have, I'll just speak in a more general sense, where our clients really succeed, especially if they're doing training and development programs. Like, let's say, as an example, Tommy brings people in and they're going to train them to be a garage door technician. Or we have companies that are plumbing companies, and they're going to hire plumbers, but there's not enough plumbers in their area, so they start a plumbing school. That's super costly to bring somebody in, put them through training for a couple of months, put them out in a $90,000, $100,000 truck, and then have them churn out before the tires need to be rotated on the truck. So being able just to apply data on the front end to say, hey, if I take my time and my resources and invest in this human, there's a much higher likelihood of success. So that's across all home services. That's the real win for them. In that. So, but again, you got to be attractive. Tommy's a good example of that. Tommy can, put out posts for getting applicants. He's going to get a flood of people coming in because of his reputation. Right. You have other garage door companies that, somebody will hardly walk across the street to fill out an application just because they don't have a reputation. So I think the key for, people that are in the trades as business owners is to spend a lot of time thinking about what makes me attractive in the marketplace. So I just wrote a book called Unrecruitable. I did it with Andy Elliott. He's my co-author on that. And, Andy's an example. He can put out a job ad and he'll have, for salespeople, he'll have hundreds of applicants because he's attractive. For the people that are attracted to him, right? And he's also not attractive to the people that he wouldn't want on there. And that's the key. You want to attract the people that you want, and you want to sort of exclude the people that wouldn't be a fit for your culture.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am curious to hear your general thoughts on the staffing space. Like, is it fair to say that someone using Who Hire would not need to engage anymore with a traditional staffing or recruiting agency?
So I have a really strong view on this.
Go for it. Yeah, I like strong takes.
I think, and I've headhunted and recruited for a company. I had a company doing that, so I have that side of it as well. Nobody's going to handle your company and your company's recruiting as well as somebody that's on your team that knows exactly the sort of environment you're going to be hiring people into, the standards of your company. So I don't think that outsourcing to a recruiter is ever a very healthy thing. Now, the only time I would, I think that's something that it's so central to your business. I don't think somebody's in the plumbing business. I don't think they're in the HVAC business. I think they're in the human business. Finding humans, training humans, maximizing humans' potential. Their humans get to be in the HVAC business. If you're a leader, you're in the business of humans. So I don't think I'd want to outsource the front door to the most important part of my business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And we don't typically have recruiters using our platform for one reason is we're sort of at cross purposes. Our platform is designed to really thin the herd of people that get hired, if that makes sense. Let's let the A+ players or A+ potential players through and screen out people that are going to be higher risk. Somebody that's just in a placement agency, a recruiter, they want to get paid, right? They're going to want to put somebody in that role. And they're not playing the exclude game. So,
Jonathan, I'm thinking of some friends of mine in Texas that own roofing companies, and door knocking is very much alive and well. Would your solution work for the guy? They're looking for the commission-only guys that are.
We have a lot of roofing companies on our platform, and they do great with it. I mean, so we've got a model specifically for door-to-door sales to tell you how somebody will do in there. But you would know this as well. If you're a roofing company and you're trying to hire door-to-door sales, you everything around that point of hire, you also have to spend time and attention on, right? So I liken it to, you can get, you could go down to a nursery and buy a beautiful plant that has all the potential. You put it, direct sunlight on your front porch, it might just wither. So if you're gonna run a door-to-door sales organization, you have to have the ability. One, we're going to attract good humans. We're going to screen for the right humans, but those right humans have an identity, and you have to build a system that ignites their identity and gets the best performance out of them.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, people tend to think of any platform like ours as the easy button, and we're not the easy button. We're for those companies that are committed to getting it right, that are comfortable looking at themselves and saying, hey, here's the things on either side of this that gets me good quality human beings. Like my grandfather was famous to me for saying, business would be easy if it wasn't for the people. And it's true. Humans are just messy. And I also think they're amazing, beautiful, magical. And if the people you have in your company aren't beautiful and magical and impressing you every day, you have a hiring problem. And it is a you problem.